Hi there, welcome, welcome. This is a 5x7 panel and I'll show you in a moment what I'm going to paint on there. I'm going to try to paint on there. I did share in the last video about things that I thought you might need if you decide to go outside and paint. I'm sure I forgot some things. This is one thing that was in my bag I didn't show you, is I buy these baby wipes, just cheap baby wipes, and I keep those in there. Very handy for cleanup, wiping the paint off your hands, so just something I overlooked. So I thought I'd mention that. All right, here's what we're going. I always say try to paint because you never know. I'll turn you around and show you. I thought with Easter coming, this guy's pretty cute, isn't he? It's a mold of a rabbit, and it's a challenge again. This is one of those things. He is really all one color, and of course, you know, there's shadowed areas, darker areas, but basically he's one color. So this will be another good lesson really in, you know, in values. He's got some nice highlighted areas. We'll put you there. You're pretty much right in front of it. But this is just a 5x7. I decided to go small, and I've been looking at it through my view catcher. Thought about going vertical. I considered both options. When I go vertical, though, he's pretty small. So we're going to go horizontal. So first we'll just try to sketch him on, and then we're going to pre-mix some colors. You know, he's silver, he's gray. So should be, again, a good challenge. So we're just going to mix up a very dark, like we always do to sketch with. And we'll start there. Look through our little view catcher and try to get him on the canvas. Right now, obviously, I just got some color on there. All right, so look through here over and over to get him sketched on. He's pretty much going to fill it this way. We'll make some reference marks and for the vertical, where he hits vertically and horizontally. He's pretty low, I think, and his little ears are pretty high. Now when we do that, where does he hit? I think I want to keep, I don't want him dead center, so I'm going to keep more of the negative space to the front of him. So he'll come to about there. And his little back end, I think about there. And he might be a little lower than that. All right, let's look through here again. See where his ears hit. His ears are just a little off center about there. All right, so let's play around, you know. We'll stay loose till we get what we want. Don't want to commit to anything. I just, you know, I thought with Easter coming, and plus he's so daggone cute, right? He isn't an antique mold, but boy, he sure feels like it. He's a very well done one. And an antique mold like this would be pretty expensive. I've spent a lot of years collecting antiques. Now I have a lot of them and they kind of get on my nerves. When you choose something like this, it's one color. Like I say, it's a good practice for values, because that's what you've got to look at. So like always, we're doing kind of a value sketch. Had my show on Saturday. It was a brutal cold day. I thought maybe that would make it good, you know, if it was too nice. I figured people would be outside working in their yards, but I really think it was just too cold. It was really miserable, windy and cold, and so the show's usually the first Saturday in February, and it's usually pretty well attended. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say there was maybe 25% of the people that are usually there. So it was okay though. I mean, I had one lady buy the sunflowers in a ball jar, the 8x10, and she bought a 4x4, and then I sold a couple more 4x4s and a 5x7. So I did, you know, sell a few things, so did better than some and probably not as good as others. But they'll go back to February next year. I talked to the guy, that's their plan. But it was just a brutal day. Still cold today. It's supposed to be actually the one group that I paint with on Tuesdays through the summer. They're going outside tomorrow for the first time, and we're going to be in the 20s tonight. They're going to someone's home, someone that's in the group, so they can go inside, but that's not. I'm sure that's not what they want to do. I'm not going. You know, we get there at 9:30 in the morning. It's only a high in the 40s tomorrow. It's just too cold. It's just too cold. My guess is they'll end up hanging out inside, you know, and bull crapping, and which would be fun too, I guess. I saw about 12 of them say they were going, so I think people are just so anxious to get out that they're going. Wednesday, however, here is supposed to be like 75, so I might go out by myself. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Yeah, I might go out by myself. If I do that, maybe I'll record. It's just the challenge of where to go, and so I'm trying to, again, put in the darkest darks that I see, at least. One of those things you decide to do and, you know, may not come out at all. Again, if you're watching it, I guess I thought it was good enough to post, but this is real bright up in here. I've got it, of course I have a light on it like I always do. I did not watch the Oscars, but I heard about that thing. I saw the video of Will Smith supposedly went up and hit Chris Rock. If you haven't seen it, Google it. You know, my feeling on it could have been staged. I mean, the Oscars I don't think have done that well for years, so it definitely brought a lot of attention to it. So we'll never know, I guess. Already tired of hearing it. You probably are too. So I'm getting rid of some of the darks that might get in my way. And the really bright highlights we'll go after last. Front of this knee is real bright. All right. Again, he's basically one color. You know, I want him to be interesting, even if that means throwing some colors in there maybe that I don't see. You know, I don't know. I've always kind of just figured out as I go along. All right, let's mix up some grays. Again, lots of ways to go at that. I usually go for the 3 primaries, you know, blue, yellow, red. So that's what we'll do. We'll start off and mix a pile that's fairly dark to begin with. You know, do we want it to be a warm gray or, you know, leaning toward red, or do we want it to be cooler? To me, I feel as though it ought to be cooler. So I'm putting more blue in the first pile. I'll bring you over. I know this makes me have to do a lot of adjusting to get you back where, but hopefully you enjoy seeing what I'm doing. So bring you over, crank you down. So this is just blue, yellow, red. Now it looks a little green to me. So you always go for the complement if you want to kill it. So we put a little more red in there. And sometimes to see what you got, you know, you got to put a little white in it. But I'm trying to get 3 values. That's kind of my goal. Let's put a little white in and see what we got. Okay, that one's just no white, just very dark, dark. And of course we have to go with highlight. We have to leave room for our highlights too, you know. Put a little more blue in that. So I don't know how it looks to you, but we've got 3 values that we can intermix. And of course we've got those very bright highlights. So we don't want to ever, you know, get too light with our 3rd value to start. We got to leave room to go really light for our highlights. So let's move you back around. Get you back up here. And I got to crank you up too. How's that? Okay, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to, I want to reserve those highlights to the end. I don't want to go that light. So you could go at this any way you want. I mean, you can go over those darkest darks with this dark that you have here and work toward your lights, which is frequently the way I work. Sometimes, you know, it depends on what I'm painting. Sometimes I go after the lightest lights, kind of establish that value range. But today I think I'm going to put in the darker values first. Like I said, there's no rules. The finished product is what's important. Oh, there's people that will tell you that there's rules. I couldn't attend the opening at Sinclair College on Friday. I have 4 paintings out there, but I heard it was very well attended, a really nice opening. I'm so glad. And they had some sales, and that show, if you live in the Cincinnati area, that show will be up for at least 3 months out at Sinclair Community College in Mason, Ohio. So there's about 50 paintings in it. The theme was local businesses. So I'm so glad it was good for them. Okay, those are mostly the darkest darks I see. I mean, there might be some little bits and pieces because he's like textured that we may have to add later. Okay, I'm looking to see what's more kind of mid-toned. Hopefully when we get him done, he feels like, you know, what he is, which is like a tin mold. I'm kind of jumping around on this one again. I've got all three values in there. And I want him to be painterly, you know, I always say like a puzzle, you know. And I'm going to go lighter than that value I mixed up, but again, not as bright as we're going to go for our highlight, because there are some values lighter than that lightest one I mixed. Some of those really bright lights are, you know, in the area where I'm painting. I'll just have to come back and add those. You know, and you can adjust this around if you want, you know, throw a little more yellow, go a little more blue, a little more red. I'm mixing up a little orange to the side here. Just change things up a little bit. Threw a little orange in that. He's got an eye in there we have to get in. Warms tend to pull toward you. Looking around for values. You know, and you could, you know, throw colors in there you don't see. You know, why not? Value's more important, so this could be one you could paint all blue or all, you know, but think about values. I did that still life that night, remember, all purples, because that was, again, that was all about value. He's kind of lit back here too, because I'm getting light from the window, which, and I may not like that in the end, we'll see. And I may even put some phthalo blue up here. I love that color. You just got to be careful with it. You'd think I used a lot of color because I've got so many tubes of paint in here, but you know, a lot of them I should take out because I just carry them around. Some of them I never ever use. There's a tube of, what is that? Sap green. I don't know. I'm getting into a little bit of the phthalo blue. I just thought it might be fun. We'll see. Again, you know, we've got highlights that go into. We'll see whether I like it or not. Like I say, he's got an eye. I think what we'll do is we'll put it dark in that area, and then we'll come over with some light to explain it. I see a call trying to come in. I'm glad I silenced my phone. It's from Minnesota. Don't think I even know anybody in Minnesota. Boy, it's just constant harassment, isn't it? People must fall for scams, or I guess they wouldn't keep doing it, right? I think what we'll do to get those really bright highlights is I'm going to clean a brush first. We may use a palette knife even some. I'm going to take some lemon yellow and some white. And again, we may use a palette knife. All right, let's look for where they are. it's a little early. We should have probably painted in the background first, but who will know in the end, right? It's just, this is kind of the icing on the cake, and sometimes it's good to leave it to last. A lot of highlights. This feels really warm to me right here. He has, I don't know what you call them even, little like pins, I guess they would have been in the original mold that held the mold together. So I'm trying to place them in there, and then we might need to go dark around them to explain them a little better. Trying to look to see where all they are. There's one back here on his little butt. Well, let's get the background painted, and then we'll look at this, look at it again and see. I may cut into this a little bit when I paint the background in. And then I have to decide if I have enough highlights, and I think we actually could use some in between kind of. He's got a little foot right there that's pretty well lit. All right, let's paint the background in. I have a dark screen behind him and a light cloth underneath. So we're going to use the dark that we used to block him in and put some white in it. You know, and I could do whatever I wanted. I could throw a little phthalo in it if I want to pull it a little more toward blue. And darken that up a little bit. I wish I had the board toned better. This was oil paint, so I couldn't put acrylic on it. Not going to explain to you why it was that color, but there was a reason. At least it had some color on it, right? I'm looking at the shape of these little ears. Time to get out our Easter stuff, isn't it? I like that it's later this year, so it'll be warmer. I'm going to recheck the highlights and stuff on this guy. I'm having to work to get it into the tooth of this panel, if you can tell that. Okay, let's see, that white cloth runs across about there. So let's use that same batch of stuff and we'll get lighter with it. If we use the same pile, then it kind of keeps it in the same color family. All right, let's look at this guy now and decide if I think I need more highlights. I think it's kind of cute and it feels like a rabbit, right? Looking to see where I think it ought to have more highlights. kind of ground him. I always forget that I bought a mat to put around the painting when I'm done to show ya. I'm going to try to remember tonight. That is really bright right there. So we've got a little more yellow in it. He's kind of furry, so I'm kind of suggesting that. Making sure I'm satisfied with him. Let me look at this shape. This kind of goes in a little more than I've got it. And that's pretty much like he is, I think. You know, and I, again, am an impressionist and am trying to be painterly, but you can start the way I start and you could just keep pulling him in tighter and tighter and tighter. That's up to you. But we all, you know, you want to start with large shapes regardless of how you want to finish. All right, that was 40 minutes. That's not bad, huh? I'm not going to sign him. I usually let him set up a little bit, and then I decide. I stay in the right or left corner generally, and I try to keep it up high enough to where the frame wouldn't cut into it. You want to do that. In this case, I probably will sign on the left because I have more space there. Probably in here. And let me show you, I got the mat here to show you what it would look like if we framed it. I'm going to have to back you out, aren't I? Got you too close. Yeah, I mean to do this every time and I forget. Not perfect, but cleans it up a little bit, and Again, it's a 5x7. Gives you an idea what it would look like framed. So, but I'll look at him and decide if I feel like he needs any more highlights, or if maybe I want to coat the background again but he might also be done. I don't know. I'll look at him and decide. So, all right, I'm proud of myself. I remembered the mat. All right. Thanks for joining me, and please like and subscribe if you haven't. And to all my new subscribers, welcome, welcome. And my old subscribers that are faithful to me, that comment and visit me often, even if you don't comment. I know a lot of you visit and you don't, and that's fine too. I just hope you enjoy it and you get something out of it. All right, watch for me next time. Catch you soon.